Cheers, people. What's up? It's Saturday, September 11th, about 8 o'clock in the morning. I'm Renn. This is The Machine, and we are going to be doing something just a little bit different today. All right, we are back here in the backyard. Been here at least once before, and we're going to take a look at these temporary raised beds that I made, because having done some soul searching, I really can't continue to grow indoors indefinitely. So I'm going to do my best to set up out here in the backyard. And see, I've got plenty of room. So I've already been out here last couple of mornings preparing this bed for sure for removal. And it's not as bad as it looks, because most of that is full of dead trees, dead tree carcasses. So I've got most of the weeds pulled out of these. A trusty old weed remover. This thing does a hell of a job getting roots and stuff. But anyway, so what I'm probably going to do is remove this one completely. I'll shovel as much of this as I can into these two beds, remove everything else, then I'll build the new bed around these two before I remove the walls. That way I won't have to move all these contents. See, I've already got a nice, well, this is the second or third wheelbarrow actually. This is down to the nitty gritty. I got all the big stuff for yesterday. So anyway, yeah, I have not had a paycheck since September of 2017. So money has been really tight, and running those lights is just killing me. And I've been doing that for, well, over a decade now. But I used to have a job, and I am unofficially retired until September 21st of this year, at which time I will be 55 years old, and at which time I can start drawing my pension. So for the rest of my life, I will get paid for not being dead. All right, so here is what I'm talking about. This is my filler for the raised beds. This is all seasoned wood. This is super punky. I mean, this is a large log, and I could probably pick up that thing underneath one arm. Got some shroomages growing. Got some old stems out here just to see how they weather. Pretty brittle. And this is my old compost pile. This keeps most of the critters out, but every once in a while something get in there. Not like it matters. But anyway, so yeah, I'll be able to get those raised beds emptied out. And then my plan is, okay, this is my neighbor's yard over here. I spent the last year or so after this, well, the old woman that lived here, she died, and I was helping her clean up all the stuff that her husband had accumulated over the couple of decades they'd lived here. And that was mostly steel, scrap steel. So that's how I've been making some of the money to keep me alive here, is just by scrapping all that steel. Most of it's gone now. I still have to get this gone. This is an old shredder, but this is the only good wheel on it, so I'm trying to come up with 3 more wheels. Then I can just roll it out of here. But then I've got an old school bus to chop up. And then thankfully though, they've got a trailer. I've already used that once to haul some of the larger steel out of here. But anyway, so, but I'm telling you all that to lead to my next point, what I'm going to be using to build my raised beds is some of the steel that I got out of that steel pile. And what I'm wanting from you guys, if you've got any ideas or advice on filling these raised beds with good stuff that I can get for free, okay? So what I'll be using, I've got, I think, 6 of these steel panels that are 12 feet long. So it'll be 2 panels high, and I think each one of these is 18, so it'll be like 36 inches high or thereabouts, 12 feet long, 4 feet wide. And I've got some structural steel here that I can use for corners, and some pipe, some strap for whatever, and more steel. Like I said, this is just some of the stuff that I saved out of that scrap. And hell, this is something I got out of the scrap pile. This is a crane. I guess he took an old tow dolly and he mounted a crane on it. It had a winch bolted to it here. I pulled it off because the winch is bad. It was an electric winch. There's the cord for it. But yeah, man, put a 2-ton winch on this thing. This thing rotates 360 degrees. It's got a spare tire on this side, but I think this is an old tow dolly. He just turned into a mobile crane, and it's awesome. And she gave it to me. Same with this truck. This is a C70. Custom Deluxe. How did I get it here, you might ask, after it was sitting in that yard next to me for 20 years? Well, I aired up the tires, drained the fuel out of the fuel lines, put a battery in it, putzed around with it for a couple of days. It started up and I drove it over here. That's right, it's a runner and a driver, and she gave it to me. Just needs brakes and a tune-up. I mean, just to give you an idea of some of the stuff that he did have. Look, this is a blade off a bulldozer. I have yet to cut it up. I'll get better money out of it. And this is the second one. So I need to get that cut up. Here's the hitch for that, the frame for that. That needs cut up. But anyway, he had all this crazy stuff. Then here's something else that I got from them that I can use eventually. Now, I did not break this. This one was already broken, the top panel here. But anyway, these are all aluminum windows, and those are all not broken. So it looks like there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 or 8 unbroken aluminum window frames there. I mean, I can make a greenhouse out of those things, if I am not mistaken. Of course, I'm gonna have to come up with some wood for framing, and that's going to have to be free. Here's a couple more smaller aluminum windows, 4 of them. These are the kind that screw open for vents. So, I've got 4 of those window sets, 8 of those window sets, and then a broken one that I could fix. So, yeah, I'm going to try to recycle as much of this stuff as I can. All right, now when it does come to wood, for this project, I do have some old telephone poles down there, and then let me see, what do I got? Looks like I've got those 3x4s, 4 of those, but they are crazy long. I mean, they just go on and on and on, and there's boards stacked on top of those. There's boards stacked on top of those. More scrap, and hell, there's another one of those big, long structural boards. So, I mean, underneath all these tires, there's quite a bit of old wood. So I'm pretty good about not throwing stuff that I might think be useful later away, and I'm glad I do that. But anyway, so, not like I don't have scrap. Got a few more long poles here, because that's my biggest concern right now, is suspending that net. Stuff's heavy. Old scaffolding if I need it. There's some more wood. But anyway, there's that. So you want to be nice to your neighbors, people. Help an old lady out. Might come back on you. So anyway, I'm going to take those panels. I'm going to run them out that way. And if you notice, the reason I haven't been growing out here, and the reason I had these test beds to begin with, is because most of the time this is all clover. And at night, this is like the devil's playground for deer, man. They are out here stomping around and running back and forth, especially the stags during rutting season. Huffing. Hell, I go out to check my mail, they'll huff at me. Anyway, so yeah, the deer were munching on this test bed. So yeah, there's no way I can grow without, coming to a head with those deer. So another thing, what I've decided to do about that, I got a something else I got from the next door neighbor, because I was helping her clean up her yard. Evidently one of her daughters used to play softball, and as a result of that, this is a batting cage. This net here is a softball or baseball practice batting cage, and that thing probably weighs 300 pounds. It's like 35 or 40 feet long. It's like 10 feet high, 10 feet wide, enclosed on all sides but the bottom, and I've cut it up into manageable pieces. So now I can create a 10-foot wall around that raised bed. Now, I have never heard of a deer that can jump over a 10-foot anything, so that should be sufficient. So anyway, between the steel panels for the raised beds and then the net to keep the deer out, I should be able to make some pretty decent raised beds out here. So anyway, if you guys have any advice, or if you have anything to share or any thoughts, just let me know. All right, people. If you're growing, hope you're kicking ass. If you're not growing, hope you start soon. Cheers, people. Later.